Today on NAS Watch, we look at a U-turn on Senate leadership rules, the controversial $516 million loan approved, and of course, retired police officers sleeping at the Villa Gate. Plus, we're going to sit down with Dr. Khalifa Abbas, a man who wants what Bello El-Rufai has. Just stay with us. Good evening, Nigeria. Welcome to NAS Watch, where we track the laws, the loans, and of course, the drama from the National Assembly. My name is Cynthia. Of course, as you know, plenary is not in session. That is due to a couple of things that they have to handle. Well, Parliament is heating up ahead of 2027. And for today, we've got three major stories, plus a conversation that you definitely don't want to miss. Now, just to refresh your mind on activities, that happened at the last legislative week before they went on break. It was a week of diplomatic action, just in case you didn't follow it. Key confirmations and, of course, significant legislative decisions. Now, let's look at the key highlights. Senate sends high-level delegation to South Africa over xenophobic attacks on Nigerians, which of course is something I told you last week that I will be keeping my fingers crossed, and once I get any updates on that, I will definitely furnish you guys with it. And Joseph Tegwe confirmed as Minister of Power. Ambassador Shola Enikaolaye confirmed as Minister of State Foreign Affairs. They also talked about Electoral Act Amendment Bill, which of course was passed to end forum shopping in a pre-election dispute. Now, NIMC Establishment Bill recommitted for comprehensive review, and Senate standing orders amended and later rescinded following constitutional concerns. So, well, they don't want to call it drama. Well, we all know how that played out. Now, wave of appointments confirmed across key regulatory institutions, and of course, fresh defections were witnessed, including former Minority Whip, talking about Senator Toye Uwoye. Now, let's first of all start with the Senate changed its rules twice in 1 week, which is going to form part of what my guest this evening is going to be, giving us his perspective on some of these issues. Now, on May 7, the Senate reversed amendments to its standing orders that would have barred first-term senators from becoming Senate President or Deputy Senate President. Basically, they opened the race back up for, fresh faces. Then, on May 11, they passed a new resolution governing how senators get sworn in and how principal officers are elected for the 2027 elections. Now, let's look at the key points before I bring my guest on. If you are elected but miss the first sitting, the Senate President can swear you in later. For Senate President, you need ranking, 2 full terms, and prior House experience. Committee chairs must reflect geographic, balance. Now, you want to know why this matters. Now, critics says it's a power play by current leadership to control 2027. You know how it's playing out right now. Lots of everything you do is almost like there is a backing of 2027. Now, supporters say it brings order. And of course, you know how it happened at the House. Senator Adams Oshomole clashed with leadership on the floor, saying, why the rush? Why you rushing the rules? Allow people to talk, because it was more like, it was chaotic. Now, what does NAS Watch think about this? We say rule changes this close to 2027? Well, we're watching. But the question now is, what does my guest think about what transpired at the House? I do have with me Dr. Khalifa Abbas. He is a public affairs analyst, but beyond that, he's eyeing something, which of course I would break that. But it's so great to have you on the show with me this evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm very well. I'm very well. I've been looking forward to this very moment, and I will not dwell on that so much. But let me first of all hear your thoughts about what transpired regarding to the change of rule. And of course, it just did a matter of how many days everything was brought back to normal. Why do you think that happened? Was it because of the back and forth that transpired, or maybe they thought, okay, it was for the betterment of Nigerians, or did they go back and say, okay, it's going to benefit the lawmakers more?
Well, like I always say whenever I have this opportunity to speak to you on this, these leaders that are leading us will only go for what is beneficial for them. And I will say it loudly. And anytime you see them changing things like this, only means what the previous judgments they had on what they passed, they might went back and think of it by not being the best thing for Nigerians, as they say. But they will only go for what is going to be better for them, better opportunity for them, better space for them.
Okay, well, let's now talk about loans, pensions, and of course protests. On April 23, President Tinubu asked the NAS, to approve the $516 million loan for the Sokoto-Badagry Highway. Now, both houses, the Senate approved it under a week. No problem. Beautiful. It's a 9-year bank facility with 3 years grace. Now, the road will link Sokoto to Badagry through 7 states. The question now is, yes, Nigeria needs roads, but NAS approved it very fast, right? Let's now come to the protest. Now, on April 20, retired police officers laid mat at the presidential villa. Their demand, Tinubu should sign the bill removing police from the contributory pension scheme. They say CPS leaves them broke after service. Loans move very fast, but people's pension probably don't move very fast. What is your thoughts on this? Let me also add that we keep borrowing. I just wanted to, I don't know why I felt the need to add that part, but we just keep borrowing. First of all, what's your take on that?
Well, the first thing you need to understand is borrowing is easy. Loans are easy. You apply for them and you have the capacity to actually showcase to where you're borrowing that you can actually pay back. So borrowing it's easy, but implementing something new that will benefit the people, it's mostly hard in Nigeria. Not as this particular stance, but when it comes to a lot of things that will benefit the people, it takes longer time for it to be actually be implemented. So I would say I think the police have every right to actually protest for it, because as you can see what is happening with the corruption, every single places, or let me say organizations, uniform men, some are corrupt. Why do you think so? It's only because I think the things that's supposed to be there for them as a beneficiary for them after work is not enough for somebody to actually survive in Nigeria. So mostly they're actually going to start doing other things that for them to make money. Not all of them, though, not all of them, but a lot of people will think they will have to actually go the other way to survive, as most of our politicians are showing the way of how to survive in other places.
When you say our politicians are showing the way, I can't bear but ask, when you say showing the way, what do you mean? I need you to elaborate on that showing the way, because I want to be shown the way. I want to see the road. So what do you mean in that aspect?
You want to see the road? I want to see the road. You're not supposed to be there.
I'm not supposed to be there. So tell me, why are you showing us the road? What
I'm saying is, as a Nigerian that lives in Nigeria, knows, the people understand what I'm saying. They understand what I'm talking about when I talk about things that happened outside what's supposed to be happening. You understand? So I can't go forward for sure and say, and this particular person or this particular person is doing it. But I cannot actually deny the fact that it's actually happening in this country.
Why can't you?
Why can't I what?
Why can't you speak on these things and say this person? Why can't you?
Because I cannot point at single people and say they are the one doing it, because I can't know for sure among them which of them are actually doing it. But what I'm sure is it's actually happening.
It's actually happening. Okay, well, I still need your thoughts before we get to our very interesting conversation that's going to take a while. Let's now talk about the reserved seats for women's bill. Now, the reserved seats for women's bill is a proposed constitutional amendment in Nigeria seeking to address the severe underrepresentation of women in legislative bodies, with women currently holding less than 5% of seats. Now, the bill aims to temporarily create additional women-only seats across the national and, of course, state assembly. Now, in an event, I had this conversation sometime last year with Dr. Adora, who is, a part of those championing the reverse seats for women bill. And it was a very interesting conversation sometime last year. And I think that from last year till now, lots of people at the House, have been chanting support, showing support, women's group, even, 7 senators and House of Reps member, drumming support for this particular bill. Let's take a look at it.
support the bill for the special seat for women. We all know that women are not well represented, especially when it comes to the political space. And we know how toxic it can be, the political terrain in Nigeria. And we believe there is need for us to come together and see how we can put a structure in place and make things easier for women to attain leadership position. I haven't shown so much qualities and in different leadership positions assigned to our women. We believe that it is important we give them the little support that we can, considering the population of women in this country and the important role that they play in building up the economy of their country. So the current number of seats occupied by women in the National Assembly is enough to give us concern, and out of 360 House of Rep members, we have only 21 seats occupied by women, and 109 senators. We have just 4 seats occupied. I don't think this is good enough for the population that's women occupy, especially when it comes to election period. We know how they come out, how they participate en masse, and we believe that they should be well represented at the national level. And this is why we believe this bill will put a definite structure in place that allows them, more seats and give them a better voice when it comes to decision making in the country.
I want to talk about the special seat bill, also known as reserved seat bill, currently before the 10th National Assembly, deliberating and talking about women inclusion in the Nigerian politics. For me, I believe that the time is right for this bill, and it could not have come at a time better than now. This special seat bill actually talks about women mainstreaming and inclusion in the Nigerian political ecosystem. It helps to create special seats for women at the National Assembly, so that when issues of national discourse, policies and programs are being talked about, we find gender equality at the table of discussion. So I urge my colleagues.
I would like to talk to you about a bill that concerns all of us. The special seat bill for women. This is a corrective and deliberate step towards inclusivity. So I'm appealing to my distinguished colleagues to support and be available to vote for this bill when the time comes. Thank you.
One of the most important bills, and like I said that at the very beginning, is the bill regarding representation of women. And it's so very important for us to continue to hammer on this point that our democracy cannot be limping on one leg. You cannot have 469 members of the National Assembly and have under 20 of them only being women. It is unjust, it is unfair, it is undemocratic. And I think if the National Assembly's proposals on constitutional amendment is to be regarded as far-reaching, the first most important bill that the National Assembly must pass and the State House of Assembly concur with is the proposals on the special seats bill. If there's anything short on that, I think Nigerians will be terribly, terribly disappointed. And it doesn't matter what the excuses those who don't support this bill give. I think it's quite important for us as Nigeria to recognize that the world is watching us and that Nigerians are saying we want a balanced representation of the plurality of Nigerians in the legislative decision-making process.
All right, you heard it there from the PLAC executive, Dr. Khalifa. Now, where do you stand when it comes to reserved seats for women? do you think that special seats should be reserved for women, or you believe that it should be as it is? Everybody come out, fight for what you want, get the form, push just the way the men are pushing.
Well, it's a hard thing to say, because when you say special seats for women, what happens to the men that are actually going to be contesting on that seat? Because we're talking about members and the Senate, which comes from constituencies, right? So which of the constituencies are you going to pick by informing people that on this particular seat, as a man, you cannot contest? It's only for women. If it's appointment, it's actually okay. But to say special seat for them, then that is by disallowing other men that have been in the queue for so long to be part of the system.
Okay.
And if by any chance now this bill is being passed, I'm not against the bill. I'm just explaining my thought on it.
We get your point. We're listening.
By this bill being passed, most of the people that have been working so hard to be here or to be where they are now might not have the opportunity, which is not fair to them. But I think we should have a solution of how they can be fit in, and also encourage them to make sure they understand that to be in power is to work so hard for you to be there. It's not a gateway where it's an easy task for only women. Men suffered a lot to be where they are today. And I believe women too can also fight to be where they want to be, if they really want it to be that way.
So let me read out the core provisions of the bill, and then I will direct a question at you. So the core provisions of the bill, right, says that you have to create, for the Senate, you have to create 37 additional seats, which means that one for each state and the federal capital territory, exclusively contested by women. A House of Representatives have to also add 37 additional women-only seats. Now, the state houses of assembly, you have to reserve 3 additional seats in every state of assembly, 1 from each senatorial district. What other measures? Because you've talked about the fact that, okay, there've been men on the queue. And so if you want to say, okay, these seats are exclusively for women to run for, from your perspective, you're saying it's going to reduce the number of seats that the men have to run for, which means they have to give way for the women. Now, I do not want to sound and say, oh, well, isn't it time to give way for the women? But I would rather put it this way. What is a better solution as against having a bill of this nature?
No, based on what you said, based on the bill, based on what they describe it to be, I think I will be fine with it. It's an additional seat for them alone, which we are fine with it.
I'm a bit worried then, if you put it that way, because at the time when we are saying that we need to reduce cost of governance, we're spending so much money. In fact, presently we are complaining that our lawmakers, our senators and House of Representatives, they are eating so much money. That's what we say. That's the word we use. We are eating so much money. Now we want to create additional seats. It means more money.
More money is going to be spent with or without this bill.
Explain.
In this country, a lot of things are happening. We talked about previous governments were having a fuel subsidy, and this government came and decided to go forward without it, and which is higher cost in everything we do. And here we are. So I don't think by this particular bill will be an issue of this when it's coming to the money spending, because it's going to be spent anyway, either on this or on other things that are out there for the money to be spent on.
So you are voting in favor of the additional seats?
100%.
This is you creating, okay, women empowerment. I would say, I'll put it that way. All right. So we're going to a very short break. When we come back, we'll talk directly this time to him. There's so much to unpack when it comes to Kaduna North, and of course the man who is currently representing Kaduna North Federal Constituency. Don't go anywhere, so Nas Watch. So Khalifa Abbas this is not his first time on, on the Nas Watch seat. He has he has been very graceful enough to be here, I think one or twice, to talk about his thoughts on how our National Assembly is going. And I've always been a huge advocate of, if you have the opportunity to make a change, why don't you just go ahead and make a change? So a little bird told me that he's got eyes on the Kaduna North seats. And the funniest thing right now is that the seat is currently occupied by Honorable Muhammad Bello El-Rufai. He was in APC up until some weeks back, where he defected, and now to the ADC. Now, let's look at Bello's record. And aside from Khalifa, who I heard, is eyeing that, but there are also 3 other persons that I'm aware are also eyeing that particular seat. Now, let's look at his record a bit. Now, 16 bills and motions, 7 bills at first reading, and he's also the chairman House Committee on Banking Regulations. Now, record has it that he has spent about 141 million plus in cost-effective projects, which, thank God Khalifa is here. He's going to tell us where these projects where they're scattered. Roads in Ungua, Dosa, scholarships, PhCs, so many things. Now, he's not devoid of controversies. In 2024, threatened Kaduna Assembly Speaker via WhatsApp over probe of his father's 432 billion naira tenure. These were things that were flying around. Now, February 2026, detained by AFCC, transferred to ICPC, a whole lot of things. Now, in May 2026, of course, defected to ADC with 2 other Kaduna reps. Let's look at latest bills that he has sponsored between 2023 to 2026. Already filled, in the 10th Assembly, counterfeit and fake drugs, unwholesome processed foods, under miscellaneous provisions. Amendment bills of 2025, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 99 alteration bills, and of course 2023 Child Rights Act 2003 Amendment Bill 2023. Now, factoring and of course receivables, financial bill mentioned in his 3-year scorecard. Other bills he has worked on, he has sponsored 17 bills and motions total as of April 2027. Now, record has it that some of these bills are only just in first reading. Now, committee works, are actually affecting his bills, according to what the record shows. Now, as chairman, House Committee on Banking Regulation, he has contributed to debate on stabilizing Nigeria's financial ecosystem and strengthening regulatory frameworks. However, like many reform bills, several House bills are stalled due to committee inaction. Let's now look at some recent legislative initiatives. As at May 2026, the Primary Healthcare Initiative, which of course was announced, setting up of ad hoc committee to equip PHCs with essential medical supplies. Phase 1, 1,000 syringes plus other critical items per center, starting with Ungua Psyche Ward and Badarawa Malali Ward. Well, you're going to tell me where all of this stands. Now, based on legislative record, 16 bills, motions that was in the first year with 7 bills, but all at first reading as of 2024. Now, oversight under his chairmanship, House Committee on Banking, described as one of the most active, respected, and result-oriented committees. I can see the smile of Dr. Khalifa. You have a lot to say about that. Now, his focus areas happens to be financial sector stability, child rights, drug regulation, constitutional amendment, health infrastructure. And aside from his defection from the APC, which happened in May, he might be seeking re-election under the ADC. He was joined by Honorable Engineer Suleiman Richifa of Shoba and Honorable Umar Ejilo of Makarfi Kudang. Well, Dr. Khalifa, over to you. I do have a number of questions, to ask, but I think that I would first of all want to start with this is who, unlike like yourself, several other people have come out to say, okay, look at the interest, okay, well, I think I want that seat. Looking at what we have, tried to find out 1 or 2 things about him, is there any part that you disagree with? Because you seem to be like, no.
Me being on this particular race,
yeah,
it has nothing to do with disagreement.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with me looking at what he's doing as if he's doing nothing. It's actually have nothing to do with him as a person or as a person representing my constituents now.
Okay.
why I'm going forward in what I'm doing happens to do with me and what I think I can do when I'm actually in that particular seat representing my people. So we are a new generation of people. I don't want to do that old politics in where we talk against people that are in that seat or people that were in that seat before, because I'm coming forward to actually contest. It's not about them. This is about me and my goals to achieve and what I think I can do for my own people, for the betterment of my people and my constituents. So you might mention a lot of things that he has done throughout his time, and the same way you're going to mention a lot of things I'm going to do within my time.
Well, I'm not going to let you settle the dust like that, because as far as I'm concerned, now Kaduna North, by the numbers, have 62% of youth unemployment, 1 PhD per 15,000 people flooding the Badarawa annually. Does this number, does it match what you have, the information you have on ground? Does it match that? Would you categorize that as something that you believe that you can work on? And what are you going to do? What do you think you would have done better if you were the one there?
Okay, first of all, what you have to understand when it comes to being a member House of Representatives to represent your constituents is not only about them alone, it's about Nigeria as a whole.
Yes.
So if you want change, or if you will perceive change for your own people, you actually need to go forward and do what you think you can do for the betterment of everybody. And by sitting back and allowing other people to actually play the role might not suit what you actually aim it to be. You might have other things that you think you might do better while they're not actually doing it the way you think it should be done. So me being part of the race, like I told you, it isn't about any other person. It's about me and the people that think I am actually capable of actually leading them to the greater stance.
Do you have an idea of what the allocation for Kaduna North is?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay, so from record, we're seeing about 700 million.
Wow, that's huge.
We also have another figure. So as of May 2026, the Kaduna State Joint Allocation Committee approved 14.56 billion for state and local government allocations, with monthly federal allocation going to Kaduna North exceeding about 700 million. So looking at what you have in Kaduna North, do you think that some of the things that I have mentioned, you think that it fits into the allocation that Kaduna North has? I mean, I would want you to be as honest as possible, because I mean, if you're going to go there, you're going to have this allocation as well. So you say it out.
Well, to be frank to you, I wouldn't sit here and say I know each and every project he has done within his time. Maybe there are things that I am not yet to understand or yet to know based on what he's actually doing. But the allocation you mentioned is actually very, very huge. A lot can be done with. But I think he's...
A lot like what? I mean, sorry, a lot like what? Let me hear. I mean, I would love to hear this. I would love to hear these amazing ideas, because I mean, you somebody who has heard like myself that you have eyes there will be like, oh, let me hear from him.
Well, the thing is, like I told you,
with 700 million.
If you live with the people, if you live in your constituency, you understand what they did better. Kaduna State is one of the best states in the north, central of the north.
Oh, okay.
With an exposed people being in that part of the city, because it's a collective of people coming from all over parts of the north to settle in Kaduna. So you can't compare what Kaduna people need to what people maybe in Zamfara or people maybe in Jigawa need. So you can only understand it when you are there with them, when you stay with them, when you understand what they need and what they want you to go for. So we don't have much time to explain bit by bit what can be done with that kind of money. But like I told you, a lot can be done in making sure you upgraded people's life, in making sure you implement rules that will activate, because now you have so many youth without jobs. You have so many ways of creating jobs opportunities for them. So it got to do with your intentions going to that particular place. Because last time I came here, I think we discussed something about the rules of the members of National Assembly, of which I told you a lot of them are going there without any presentation for their own people. Most of them, not him in particular, most of them are actually going for what they think might be of benefit for them, as a financial benefit or a capacity benefit. Can be anything. I don't want to sit here, like I told you, like I don't want to be a regular politician that just come to shows or interviews and talk about things that other people should have done.
But you do know that I'm going to also ask you that why do you think he's there? And why do you think he wants to come back? You know I'm going to ask you that, right?
Well, for him to be there, it's because he thought he can actually do what he's doing there. And like to shock you, I was part of people that actually campaigned for him.
Oh wow, interesting. I like this part.
I did. So that's to tell you, I have nothing against him. That's one thing I want to make clear. That is, we don't have any dispute or any disagreement or any conflict.
Okay.
It is what number one is, I'm a Nigerian that has the right to actually go for any suitable suit I think I can through the regular process that is available for us.
Okay.
By Nigerian Constitution. So, like I told you, everything you see me doing, apart from now being part of this show as an aspirant to be as a member of National Assembly, I have been doing so many activities that has nothing to do with politics, but that has everything to do with people. You understand? So that gives me an idea of what can be done with that huge capacity, and to be part of something that can upgrade their lives in a better way, that I alone cannot do it without actually being part of the change. And one thing I want you to understand is a lot of youth are anticipating about politics. They talk about politics every day. They discuss about politics, but they're not active on it. And I used to tell them, politics doesn't happen on Twitter, on Facebook. Yes, it's a platform to actually promote political aspirants, to talk about politics. But the real way to actually be part of the change that you wish to have is actually to be part of a party that can allow you to either contest or allow you to support people that you believe can actually change the narratives or change what is happening in our country or in your constituency.
Okay, that's interesting. It just sounds like I am listening to you talk about your plans for your people, and that, I mean, if your Cardinal North people are watching, I'm sure they'll be very proud. But I do have something for you. You know that, of course, he's chairing a committee, you know, which has to do with banking regulations, and his committee hasn't published any single oversight report on CBN in 18 months. Now, so this one is for you. I mean, how many reports do you think that you're going to be publishing in a year? And of course, are you that kind of person that's going to be naming banks if they fail publicly? Are you going to be calling out people, say you did this, you're not doing this?
Let me tell you something. It takes time a lot after too much consideration, after too much advices from people I respect. Because this thing that I'm here for, I'm not the person that actually started and say, I just want to come forward and contest. The last election that happened, people were actually asking me to actually be part of the process, which I thought there are people that want to do it so we can actually support them and actually push them to be where they are today. And now at the time we're growing older, and I think it's the time for me actually to be part of the process. And why I'm saying this is for you to understand is people who know me know that I speak when it's time to speak. I speak about things that I wasn't even asked questions about. Types of things that are actually my responsibilities too. Okay. So I think that should answer your question.
That hasn't answered my question. Are you going to be that person who is going to call up? So you, this institution, you haven't done this. Are you that person? Because I need to know. So I need to have something to hold on to.
I am that person that will do exactly what a member of National Assembly should be doing, representing his constituency. In either by pointing people that are actually fault, either by fishing out people that are corrupt. Any rule that is supposed to be the rule of a member of National Assembly should be what people that are coming forward to contest to be having in mind. Because if one thing about Nigeria is without having that kind of image, people are not going to support you. And people who are going to support you are only going to support people like me. I don't have money. That's one. That's no.
No politician has. No politician will ever agree that they have money.
No, see, to be frank with you, I'm not rich.
Have you ever seen a politician who agrees that they have money?
Maybe there. I don't know.
Have you ever seen a politician who agrees that he has money?
They say they don't have money.
And you just said that too.
I don't have money.
You sound like a politician right now.
No. I sound like a person. So I'm saying that I don't have money.
You sound
So
like a politician.
what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to point out is, I don't have money to buy voters. I don't have money to go forward and say, come on, vote for me because I have money to pay you. So the only reason that I can be voted for is for what people believe I can do. That's the difference between me and other contestants that are actually there, because some of them have money to actually share to the people in their favor.
So they share money?
Some of them might.
Oh, really?
We are yet to start campaigns, so we can't say who share money or who doesn't share money for now.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, it's politics. It's Nigeria. Are you telling me that you don't know that people share money?
I'm hearing from you.
The first time.
That they share money.
You just came to Nigeria yesterday.
I'm hearing from you.
You just came to Nigeria yesterday.
Knowledge is power. I'm just hearing from you.
Well, that I'm giving you the knowledge.
Exactly.
In politics, people use money
Okay.
either to buy votes or to buy supporters. It can be any of the above, which I'm not encouraging it. What I'm telling you is, I am not part of those people that even have the money to give. Even if let's assume I am willing to actually pay people.
Okay.
I don't have the money to pay people. So for that reason, the only reason that people might vote for me for, or will vote for me for, is for what they see me to be. Is what they see me to be by being actively in political activities for a decade, right? Without holding any seats, without being part of any government, government appointment or appointee. Then, and people have seen what I was able to do growing up. Like I was telling somebody that I lost my dad 15 years ago today. I lost my mom 11 years ago. So I'm not here out of privilege. I worked so hard to be where I am as a person, as a business person that I am. And me being part of the people that want to transit into politics are people who deserve to be on that particular seat. Not because somebody is out there that actually voting for me to say, okay, go forward, I'll ask people to vote for you. No, it's not about that. It's about me backing on the people, trusting that they were actually going to make better decisions for themselves. Because why we are here as a country is because we allow that particular money being used in buying our future, in buying things that's supposed to be of a thing that people should go for based on their values, competence, not for what they can pay for.
They say politics, I'm sure you must have heard this. They say politics is a very dirty game. How are you going to navigate this very murky, muddy waters?
Politics is a dirty game. That's what we've been hearing growing up. And that's where a lot of intelligent people are not involved in it. They talk about it, they tweet about it, but they don't actually come forward for it because they think it's not a space for them. But what is our own space if we say we're going to be backing down only because we assumed or we think the politics is going to be dirty? And the way people are doing politics was actually consumed by the way people perceive politics to be. So you coming forward for whatever seat you want to actually go for should be based on your own understanding of it, your own capabilities of it, not really what people stage it to be as what should be done if you want to be in a particular seat.
Okay. All right. So everything you've just said now, you still did not answer my question because I want to know categorically, are you going to play dirty? You want something, don't you?
I am going to be a leader, the way a leader should be.
And you're going to get the position no matter what it takes.
I'm going to get a position if people vote for me in.
Well, one thing I know for sure is that we will still have this conversation again. I am very sure that we're going to have this conversation again. Well, in case you're wondering why I and Dr. Khalifa Abbas like this, it's because he threatened that he was going to run away in the middle of the show. So I had to bring him closer to myself so that in case he wants to run, I just hold him by his agbada. So there'll be no place for him to run. All right. So I think that, what is that final thing you want to say before we wrap up the show, Dr. Khalifa?
Okay, my final thing to say, I think, should be more of an advice to people, not only in my constituencies. In my constituency, people that are supposed to come forward and vote for their leaders. To me, Nigeria aims to be using party system in making sure everybody that comes from this particular party is a good person. I say, go forward and make sure you actually investigate, understand the person coming to represent you, because that particular person is somebody who is going to decide whether tomorrow is going to be better for you or is going to be worse than now for you. So I think it shouldn't be based on a party, it should be based on people. And what I say this thing, every single person that you see him now coming forward for any position, was doing something before, whether as a politician, whether as a business person, whether as a government appointee. It might be anything. He was doing something before now. So don't say, oh, he was not a politician, so you don't have record to actually show. Everybody have a record. So go through their record in their businesses, in their relationship with people, in their building, how they build people who do not actually build. Understand them before you can say, okay, I want to go and thumb in for this particular person. Because if not, you are creating another 4 years for yourself, whether it's a good 4 years or a bad 4 years, you're going to by that thumb you're going to actually go and vote for. Okay,
well, you heard it from him. At this point, I will tell you that you want to know more about him. Well, it's up to you there. His name is Dr. Khalifa Abbas. He's a public affairs analyst, and he has confirmed what the little bird told me, that he's eyeing that seat. So it's now left for the people of Kaduna North to decide if by the time he makes his intention of, his intention officially open, if you like everything that he has told you. That's it on NAS Watch for this week. The National Assembly works for you, and of course we will keep watching it for you as well. My name is Cynthia Agbo. I will see you next week.